Okay, so hello everyone. Good to see you. Uh, Seen a number of you on the New Year retreat we just had, and not seen a number of others of you for a couple of weeks, so that's great. Uh, yeah, woke up to a smattering of snow this morning and got a message from my brother in the South Pacific where he lives saying it's 30 degrees. So there's a variety of conditions we could be in, one could be in. Uh, yeah, it's that time of year when a lot of us think about intentions or resolution, some kind of new resolve or commitment, perhaps bringing fresh energy to a habit or a tendency or an attitude that you would like to change in some way, or thinking about something that you'd like to prioritize in your practice or in your life, or like to just set up conditions that it can further unfold. So yeah, what holds us back? We make this commitment, we make a resolve, and sometimes when we do that, we then become aware of what is holding us back, what gets in the way, and what kinds of views and attitudes. So it's good to have a sense and be more aware of what we're working against, because habits can be very, very strong. Um, it's important not to underestimate the strength of certain patterns, especially if we've been doing them for a very long time. But we also don't want to be discouraged if, we fall at the first hurdle, not being afraid to just sort of try again, just in a way go back to the beginning. A bit like with awareness, you go back to the next moment. There's always another opportunity to begin to be aware. Um, I don't know where Banti has said this, but I've known this for a long time that he said that 90% of the work of the spiritual life is through working with our conditioning. And this means our habits, our patterns. So once we're through conditioning, we're almost awakened. I suspect this is something to do with that our conditioning is all about how we react, how we respond to the conditioned world. Conditioning and conditioned have a lot in common. So I find that encouraging that even though it can be a lot of work um, to change a habit, particularly in the sense of understanding the causes and conditions around certain habits, and but it's a big part of what our spiritual life is all about. So on the online retreat recently, we used a teaching from the Pali Canon from the Anguttara Nikaya, which I found quite a helpful framework, and quite a few other people did too, around habits, bringing a particular sort of lens to a habit. And to loosen up a habit through understanding, like I said, there's the causes and conditions around it. So this teaching is it's either a 3-stage or a 5-stage, but the 3-stage is goes by the name of gratification, danger, and escape. Sometimes the danger is talked about as a drawback. So this might be around, it could be anything, but I'll just give you a few examples. So it could be around phone use or tech use in general. It might be that we don't meditate as much as we would like to, or we don't exercise as much as we think we need to, um, or a different kind of habit. It might be the habit of impatience, for example, which was, yeah, my resolve last year was to become less impatient. Or maybe we want to yeah, work on the habit of that we tend to undermine ourselves in certain situations or lose confidence. So it can be anything like that. And that the gratification aspect says, well, what's the payoff to this habit? What do I get out of it through doing it? What's the benefit to me? And it's often an unseen benefit. Um, Another of my habits that I'm often looking to change is around what I read. I really like thrillers, and while I've cut down, you know, I know that it's one that's easily taken up again. So the gratification aspect would be thinking, well, what do I get out of reading the thrillers? What do I get out of it? And really reflecting on that, thinking about that. Um, I find them relaxing. Uh, there's it's maybe in it's quite, but in an unchallenging sort of way. I enjoy reading in bed, especially in winter in our house, which is pretty cold. So I enjoy being tucked up, um, reading. So I'm occupied, but I'm not giving myself something sort of more sort of challenging or stretching to do. So yeah, gratification, we can reflect in that. And I think it's worth looking at. It's often a little bit surprising what we get out of something. The second stage, the danger or the drawback, is often more obvious. With my thriller reading, it would be that it's a waste of time, basically. I'm in not putting very anything edifying into my brain, even though there are certain sort of there's a certain sort of cleverness about it, but in terms of how I could use my time, it's a poor use of my time. It affects the quality of awareness because you know the stories are often quite dark. It's a bit like reading the news. I think that's another of my own habits that I'm looking to change. Again, um, yeah. And reading, particularly sort of for me compulsively, gets me away from the present moment. So this is just to give you an example, really. But there's the danger is uh, whatever we lose through this particular habit. What is it? So by reflecting on what the benefit is, the gratification, what we get out of it, and what the danger is. The third stage is that of escape or release. So it's like understanding the causes and conditions opens up the possibility of freeing ourselves, um, probably step by step, you know, maybe in line with um, a strategy or supporting a strategy. Um, but we start to loosen the grasping, the clinging on to particular habits. And I think if we do it with one or two habits, then we can start to have a sense of a really effective way of dealing with any habit. Actually, any habit we can see, it can be broken down into those reflections. What do I get out of this? Uh, what's the drawback from continuing with this kind of behavior or this kind of attitude? Um, with our more sort of psychological tendencies, like me with the impatience, it can be very interesting to think, well, what do I get out of being um, a bit aggressive in certain situations, or what do I get out of being a bit small and lacking in confidence in this situation. It can be very, very interesting to think not just of why aren't I different and it's such a pain being like this, but what's actually the benefit to me staying small in certain situations? And that's in some ways the more significant part of being free from this, from whatever tendency it is. Okay, so we'll leave it there. If you'd like to set up for meditation.